This is a tutorial on using Mixamo Animations with the Advanced Locomotion System project that is free on the Unreal Engine Marketplace. We can also use this same system to incorporate the animations, the Mixamo animations, with the default Unreal Engine mannequin that is in most of the projects. So the first thing we're going to do is navigate to the marketplace, make the free purchase for the Advanced Locomotion System asset, and we're going to create a project. We'll just run ALS for short for this one, and what we're going to do is, because of the version locking for our TAFE computers, we're going to call it Advanced Locomotion System version 3 because we're going to have engine version 4.23.1, and we'll just choose a location, and I do have a UE4 projects folder in my documents folder, so I'll just choose that. I have got the version of the engine is 4.23, so let's make sure we have that set. When using the Advanced Locomotion System, you'll notice that we do have, it says Advanced Locomotion System version 4. If you use engine version 4.24 or 4.25, you do get the version 4 of the Advanced Locomotion System. With engine version 4.23.1, you will get version 3 of the Advanced Locomotion System. So once that project has been created, we can jump to the library and we can see that there. We'll open that project shortly. We'll navigate back to Mixamo. The first thing we want to do is to upload our own character. So rather than using one of the Mixamo default characters and the skeleton and armature that has been applied inside those characters, we'll actually use our own. So inside Documents folder, I have a UE, so Unreal Engine Mannequin. It says no root, so the root bone has been removed so that the Adobe Mixamo website can work with that skeleton and the animations that we have available to us on that website. Once that character has been uploaded, we're just going to click Next. There's technically no auto rigging required because we have the skeletal structure from the default mannequin from Unreal Engine. First thing we want to do is, with the Animations tab, we have Characters and Animations tabs available to us on that Mixamo main page. We want to actually search in the Animations section for T-pose. There is a T-pose animation. I can also access just a straight, it's not a T-pose, that's actually the Unreal Engine A-pose, but we'll actually select this T-pose animation and download. We will actually take this into the engine and use it for just as a reference point for bringing the animations into Unreal Engine before then retargeting them to the Advanced Locomotion System skeleton. So the download settings for this will be FBX with skin, 30 frames per second, and none on the keyframe reduction. All of our Mixamo downloads will all have the same settings. Whilst we're here, we'll just grab an animation. So I'll grab just something a bit fun, the Brooklyn Uprock animation. And we do have all of these settings here for overdrive to speed things up. Character arm space, if the character is a little bit different, maybe it has some kind of different mesh stature where your arms need to be altered slightly. And then we can actually trim the animation so we can actually reduce or increase the amount of frames. This one flows on perfectly when it finishes and restarts, so it's going to leave that how it is. So I'm just going to hit download. The default download settings are what we're going to run with again. Going to navigate in Finder to the downloads folder and just shift those across to the documents folder. Inside there, you have Mixamo Animations. Just shove those in there quickly. And another new folder here, and we'll call those UE4 we'll call this UE4 mannequin underscore T-pose underscore no root. So that there. Just name that folder, that file as well. Oops. We'll just add the no root to the other animation as well. I'll actually call that anims because we do have a couple of different things inside that folder. So UE4 mannequin anims no root. So we have the T-pose and then we have the Brooklyn Uprock. Just change some settings here. And we can see that these are just FBX files. They do contain the character mesh information, but also the animation data. So just minimize that now. That's all we need for now from the Mixamo website. You will need an account for that. It is free access, and it's royalty free. So you can utilize those for any kind of project, games or movie sequences or anything like that that you'd like to do. So if you do create an Adobe ID. Make sure you create that with your own personal email address, not a school one, so that you can keep that one forever. We will add the root bone information into those FBX files that we actually require. So just what we do, we go to File, Import, and locate the Mixamo Animations folder, UE for Mannequin Anims No Root. And the first one we're going to do is the UE for Mannequin T-Pose No Root. And we're going to just have a look at the settings. I'm just going to leave the defaults for the imports and click Import. Character is very large. Just roll a mouse wheel to get out to be able to see exactly what we've got. You don't really need to see much. First thing we're going to do is click on the Rigging tab, then click on Create Joints, just here. Click on the little graph between the feet. You'll see a little green dot appear. We have the settings for that just over here on the right hand side. We just need to click on Joint 1 and we'll just type root or lowercase. The translate is the location of that root joint. We're just going to put 0, 0, 0, so X, Y, Z is all going to be zeros. And then we have a radius, so the size of the actual of the reference point. So we're just going to put in a radius of 3, just so that we've got a little larger reference point for that. So go to Panels, just at the top of that 3D viewport there, and we'll go to the Panel option, then Outliner. And what we want to do is we want to select Pelvis, shift click Root, then click on the P key. So we want to make sure we do that the right way around so that we have root now as the parent and the only one that's actually visible. Then we can say File, Export All, as this is the process completed. So Export All, I'm just going to my Documents folder, Mixamo Animations, and I'll create a new folder there. UE4 underscore mannequin underscore anims. So inside of there, call this UE underscore mannequin underscore anim T-pose. First thing we need to do is change it from Maya binary and to an FBX export. So once we get the FBX export, we have a few more options here as well. So where the defaults are perfect, I'm not going to ask you to change anything. So just turn open geometry. We will turn on smoothing groups. That's all we need to do inside there. The next section, animation. We will make sure that the animation option is ticked. We do not want to bake the animation. The next section we want to have a look at is, it is inside geometry. And we want to make sure inside the deformed model section is deformed models, skins, and blend shapes all checked on. So apart from that, we choose our location, so then our file name, make sure we have the FBX export and just a couple of those options that we need to tweak. We do get a skin definition warning, but that's nothing to be concerned about. Next, we need to import and modify the other animation, which is our dance animation. So we're going to, once again, click on Create Joints, click on the little graph at the bottom, set zeros for our translates, and we can set 3 as our scale on the radius for the size of that appearance of the joint, and all lowercase root for the name. Select pelvis, shift click root, hit the P key. It completes that process of adding the root bone and parenting everything to that root bone. And just file, export all, and using the same options that we had the first time, so navigating to our folders, so making sure we are on FBX export as well, just the same as that first export. Close that and not save, and we have our project open and ready to go. So I'll create a new folder in the contents folder called My Assets. Create a folder inside of there. We'll call it UE underscore mix underscore anims. We'll create another folder in here, and we'll call that UE underscore mix underscore, so mix for Mixamo, and we'll say converted. So inside of our Mixamo animation, so UE mix anims, we will navigate to our UE4 mannequin anims. We don't need that main binary file. What we'll do is we'll drop that T-pose character into the folder, and we get our FBX input options offered to us from Unreal Engine. To make sure we have skeletal mesh and import mesh selected, we will click on import animations. We'll make sure we have convert scene also selected. We don't really care. We will import the textures regardless, that's fine. And then just click the import button. The next thing we want to do is import the other animation. So we'll just drag and drop that in. The settings for this one are slightly different. I'm going to uncheck Import Mesh, and we're going to make sure that we have which is just here, it's the skeleton that we've just imported, UE Mannequin NMT Pose. So UE Mannequin NMT Pose, and that says skeleton on the end. If we hover over it, that's the one we want to make sure is listed here, but no tick in Import Mesh. We're going to say Convert Scene is also ticked. That's the only things we need to actually look at, and we'll just import that one as well. Just open that animation, it's just appeared. Just double click, make sure it all looks fine. There doesn't seem to be any issues with that. Whilst we're here, we'll just do a quick save all on all of our new assets that have come in, just in case we do have an issue. Then what we want to do is open up our Unreal Engine Mannequin NMT Pose skeleton, so the one we just imported into the My Assets folder. We're going to open up that skeleton and we're going to have a look. So it's opened in the editor. We have skeleton up here selected. First thing we're going to do is click on Preview Scene Settings and Apply to Asset. So we're going to apply that mesh to the asset. Then we're going to jump to the Animation tab, click Preview Scene Settings again, and Apply to Asset again. Very important that we actually do that. We're going to head back to the skeleton. We're going to click on Show Retargeting Options. We'll also click on Window and open up Retarget Manager. So down here we have a select rig. It says none. We're going to drop that down and we want to select a humanoid rig. Now we can have a look through there. The win here is that this mannequin that we uploaded to the Mixamo website has all of the same bone structure and naming conventions for those bones as the default mannequin for Unreal Engine, and it's almost identical to, or I think it is identical to, the Advanced Locomotion System skeleton. So we can just click on Show Advanced and have a quick look through there as well. The only thing we need to actually change in here is for IK foot root. We need to set root IK foot left. We just need to set foot left, and then IK foot right. We'll set foot right. So root foot underscore L foot underscore R for those IK bones there. It's the only thing that we've needed to change through there. Click Save. Clicking back on the skeleton tree, we have the root bone, which wasn't in. We actually added that in Maya. But what we're going to do for the retargeting here we're going to set animation scaled for the root and the pelvis. Then on the spine 01 and further down, we're going to right click and recursively set translation retargeting to skeleton. We move down and we're going to do that again. Recursively set translation retargeting to skeleton, and then again for the bottom section. So everything is set to skeleton apart from that root and the pelvis, which are set to animation scaled. I'm going to save that. Also save the animation where we applied the mesh. Just close that. The next step is to prepare the advanced locomotion skeleton. So we navigate through, I'll do that through the contents, so advanced, so into the advanced locomotion v3 folder. This process is actually, will work fine with the advanced locomotion system version 4, so for projects in the engine for version 4.24 and 4.25. So inside the characters mannequin, we have the ALS mannequin skeleton. So we'll open that. We want to make sure that we don't need to apply the mesh to the asset. So we just make sure inside the skeleton, the preview scene settings, and the animation section, preview scene settings, making sure we don't have the button there to apply the mesh. Just going to save that. Jump back to the skeleton. Check the retarget manager. Make sure we are on humanoid. Just have a quick look through there just to make sure that everything is good. Then back to our skeleton tree tab. Click on options, show retargeting options. So once again, dropping down the first two, the root and the pelvis, to animation scaled. The rest we've got set to skeleton. Then we'll just right click here and recursively set the inverse kinematics options to animation scaled as well. Then we'll save that. Disable the inverse kinematics, so the inverse kinematics animation blueprint temporarily. On the retarget manager tab, let's jump back to there quickly. What we will do is change the pose of the advanced locomotion system skeleton. So if we click on modify pose, it brings up a little window here for setting the pose. We do have the option and it's an importable option. So it was a T-pose has actually been provided for retargeting purposes. So once we import that, if we click on modify, when the character is in that pose, if we say use current pose, we can say hide or view. Hiding gives us the default A pose of the Unreal Engine mannequin. The T pose will match the T pose that we've got for our character from the Mixamo website. So that's everything we need to complete inside of here. Let's close that. Jump back to our demo level. We'll click Save All. Then what we're going to do is head to our UE Mixamo Animations folder. And all we're going to do is right click on the dance animation. I'm going to say retarget anim assets, and we're going to duplicate anim assets and retarget. So we're going to create a new version of that animation, and we're going to create a new version with the advanced locomotion system skeleton. So here's our source skeleton. Just double check that. This is a modify, reset, modify, use current pose. So we might just use the A pose for now because the other character is standing in an A pose, which will be fine for us if it maps across correctly and retargets. So I was under the impression we'd get the T, but that's fine. So we'll right click and say retarget animation assets. We'll duplicate animation assets and retarget. So that's our source, which is our Mixamo character, or Mixamo skeleton. There is our advanced locomotion system. They look almost identical. So we're going to just click over here and say, so all of the defaults are great. If you did want to replace any kind of namespace information here, we can do that automatically. So if we're changing an entire animation blueprint or something like that, and additional files in the background, but what we're going to do is just change that one file at a time, and just select our UE mix converted. So we're going to go to that folder, and it automatically just drop the new version of it into that other folder. Click on retarget. Everything that we don't have any warnings or errors, everything looks great. So we'll just jump in there and have a quick look at how the animation appears, and we'll just minimize that for a moment. We'll come back to here. This is the original animation. You'll notice that we don't have the dark gray joints like the advanced locomotion system skeleton, which is on this one. And we also have the inverse kinematics animation blueprint currently running, but not affecting us in any unforeseen way. So everything looks clean and tidy. So close those animations out. We'll click Save All. That is the process complete. I will create another short video on just applying one of those animations to the character, just for testing purposes, and I'll start that momentarily. Okay, welcome back. We'll just do a quick save all of our assets in our project, just to make sure everything's where it should be and we're not going to lose anything if we have any problems. So inside of our folder, we have that newly created Brooklyn Uprock dance animation, and it's targeted to the advanced locomotion system skeleton. Just going to right click on that and say create anim montage. So it's going to keep the same name by default. It tries to be helpful, and it's just created an underscore montage on the end of that. So I'm happy with that. Just going to click save all again and save. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the Advanced Locomotion System and Blueprints folder. We have our mannequin character there. What we'll do is we'll duplicate that character and we'll call it Mannequin Dancer and double click to open that character up. So we have a blueprint editor, but not the full one. So we'll just open that up. We will just see our character. We're going to drop that character into the scene. So we can just drag and drop. We will remove the other character. So with that character selected, we have that mannequin dancer just here. Just drag the slider all the way at the bottom and scroll up a touch, and we have an auto possess player option here in the pawn settings. We'll just set that to player 0 so that we will actually possess that player. Here's the game. We'll just test that really quickly. And that works fine. The other thing we actually need to do is in our mannequin folder, we need to jump to our NMBP, so our mannequin NMBP. So this is in the Advanced Locomotion System character, and we'll jump to our anim graph, and just before our output pose, we just drag off the little man on the output on the blend poses. We'll just type in slot and we'll get a default slot there so that we can hijack that and play an anim montage. So saving that. We can close that one. Just head to our settings and project settings, and we'll just scroll down. In our project settings, in the engine section, we have an input, and we're going to add a new action mapping. So let's click on the plus next to action mapping, name that dance, and we'll map that to number 3 on our keyboard. So number 3, we don't need to save that, automatically saves. Then we need to head back to our blueprints and double click on our mannequin dancer. That's our character there. We're going to go to the event graph. We'll right click and we'll type in dance. The first thing we get at the top, it's highlighted in grey and it's called dance. It's an action event. We just created that with our inputs. So what we want to do is just drag off there. If we type play anim montage is what we want. Just want to play one anim montage. And if we scroll all the way to the bottom, there's our Brooklyn Uprock anim montage. So we just select that. That will, if we compile and save, close, we can actually jump in and do a little test. So you can see that all of our inverse kinematics are all still running nicely inside of there. We can actually hit that number 3 key and we can play our anim montage. So we can bring any animation we like down from the Mixamo website and apply those to this character. So make sure you save your project before moving on to do anything else.